Hi, this is John Farrell with the Farrell Law Firm. Today we're going to talk about an estate planning mistake you shouldn't make using Aretha Franklin as an example. But first, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We put out new videos every Tuesday and Friday, and make sure you hit the like button because every like helps. Hi, John Farrell with the Farrell Law Firm again. To tell you a little bit about myself, I am the author of Estate Planning for the Modern Family, and I was recently voted one of the top 3 lawyers here in Cobb County, Georgia, along with the law firm being voted one of the top 3 law firms here in Cobb County, Georgia. All right, so today we're going to talk about an estate planning mistake that you shouldn't make using Aretha Franklin as an example. For those of you who don't know, Aretha Franklin was an American singer, songwriter. She also played the piano. But let's be honest, who doesn't know Aretha Franklin? And she was known as the Queen of Soul. And if you have a moment, go back and listen to her catalog. It is just amazing. But she passed away about 5 years ago in 2018. And her estate still hasn't been probated. Now, she made several mistakes along the way, and we're going to talk about those. Some of them are big and some of them are small, but let's talk about the big one. The big mistake that Aretha Franklin made that you shouldn't make yourself is trying to do this yourself. Estate planning is something that a lot of people do try to do themselves. But it's a lot like trying to pull your own tooth. Yeah, you probably can do it, but you're going to be much happier if you get an estate planning attorney, or rather a dentist, to help you. It's just one of those things where having a professional help you do these types of things is really going to benefit you. Now, you probably could pull your own tooth. I don't know if you'd be able to write a really valid will yourself. They're not too complicated, but again, you'd be better served by having an estate planning attorney help you. So the big mistake that she made, the overall mistake that she made, was trying to do this herself. Now, the smaller mistakes that she made was that by doing this herself, her family found multiple handwritten wills that she had executed herself after her passing. One was found in a locked cabinet. Believe it or not, that another was found under a seat cushion on her couch. So those wills, the family is fighting over the validity of those wills. The mistake with having multiple wills, and especially trying to do them yourself, is that you probably didn't revoke the old ones. Oftentimes, whenever we prepare a last will and testament, the first line we'll write is that we hereby revoke all previous wills. That way, people know that the will that they're looking at is the last one, unless there is one dated later that says, hey, I revoke that one also. But the idea is that when the will is written, there really should be a line. We always put it at the top just to let everybody know, hey, listen, we revoke any prior wills. This is the last will and testament. I'm going to guess that her wills didn't contain those, and that's why there may be some question about which of the wills is actually her last will and testament. I believe one was dated in 2014, and the other, I believe, was dated in 2010. And so the family is disputing about which one is actually her last will and testament. Sometimes when you don't revoke old wills, they sort of merge together, and maybe you take parts of one and parts of another and make it into one will, because it's really just unclear. That's why whenever you write a will, you should revoke any prior wills that you've done. So that is a mistake that she did. I'm going to guess that she doesn't have that type of clause in there that revokes old prior wills. So don't make that mistake whenever you are preparing a new will. Again, you probably want to have an attorney help you with that. Now, why has the probate process taken so long for her? Now, probate is a long process. You can check out some of my prior videos where I've done a case study, and roughly in the county where I am now, it's running about 1.5 years to probate a will. Some are shorter than that, some are longer than that, but that's about the average case. It takes quite a while. Well, it's taken about 5 years in her case. Well, why has it taken so long? Well, number one is because of the pandemic. She passed away in 2018. The pandemic hit in 2020. And that really caused a lot of probate cases to essentially be halted because of the country and the courts dealing with the coronavirus. So it was very difficult to get into the courthouse. A lot of courts went virtual at that point. Really had to have a lot of staffing issues, and so it really just drew out a lot of the time it would take to probate a will. So that was one of the issues that her family faced in trying to probate her estate. Another thing that has drawn it out is the family just hasn't been able to come to an agreement on what they should do with her estate. She's got two wills. They haven't been able to agree on which one should be the valid will. Ultimately, they just weren't able to mediate the case, and so that has led it to go into a trial. It is actually going into trial this week, and the family's trying to convince, some of them are trying to convince that one of the wills are her last will and testament, and another part of the family's trying to convince the court that the other will is her last will and testament. But ultimately, let me give you some advice on how all of this could have been avoided. She could have avoided this for her family by, number one, not attempting to do this herself, two, getting a revocable living trust prepared by an experienced estate planning attorney. That is the purpose of the revocable living trust, just to make it easier on people that are left behind. If you try to do it yourself, you may fall into the problems that Aretha did. Ultimately, get an experienced estate planning attorney to help you with this. So the big mistake that she made was that she tried to do it herself. Some of the smaller mistakes she made was that she had multiple handwritten wills that she left around. And you really shouldn't do that. So now, if you've listened or watched our videos for any amount of time, you know what I do is I help people put an estate plan into place. And you should be prepared for the future. And so to help with that, I've written a book called Estate Planning for the Modern Family. You're going to want to get a copy of this book because it is a great resource on trying to get an estate plan into place. It's going to answer a lot of questions for you. So to grab a copy of that book, I've put a link in the description below so that you can order your own copy of that book. If you want to learn a little bit more about the firm and perhaps schedule a free consultation for yourself, call 678-809-4922. That's 678-809-4922. Or you can click one of the links in the description below, either sign up for the free consultation or go to our website to learn a little bit more about what we do to help people get an estate plan into place. All right, so that's really all we have today. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We put out new videos every Tuesday and Friday, and make sure you hit the like button because every like helps.